Welcome back, everyone. Still working on these liner locks from the previous video, and you may be wondering, if you're new here, why I drilled such a large pivot in this little bitty blade. Well, in the last video I screwed up a couple liners for the two blades and over drilled them. So I just made a couple other blades for those liners, and I'll use those stainless blades on another project. But right now I've got the back spacers drilled, and I've got to make them for those Damascus blades, but we're going to go ahead and do our pass-through holes for our screws and start doing some tapping and try to fool around with some fit up here with our stop pins and all that fun stuff. All right, now I'm going to start heat treating these two Damascus blades. I put them in a fall pouch to do the grain refining and all that stuff, thermocycling. That just prevents a lot of scale buildup. Then I will take them out of the fall pouch and harden them in Parks 50. So what thermocycling, grain refining, all that does is it helps reset the carbide grain structure. It evenly distributes it. That way when you go to harden it, you'll have an even distribution of hardness. You reduce some of this large grain from the heating and forging and uneven distributed carbides by doing some grain refining and thermocycling. So we're going to get it in here, get this done, and I'll get back onto the process of working on the other folders. First, I'm going to bring it up to about around 1575, then around 1450, and then I will harden at 1500. And but during these thermal cycles, I will bring it out of the oven, let it cool to black, put it back in, do the next cycle. All right, here's the blades right out of temper. I just sanded one a little bit on my lap plate over there just to get a closer look at it, but the other one is right, the colors are right out of temper. So we got those blades done. Also had to remake spacer for one of these folders, this one here, because this one was off. When I was drilling it, the glue broke loose and it got the screw off, so that's trash. I've got all of the countersinking done for the screw heads on the liner locks, and I've got some more work to do on the frame locks. I'm not really worried about them right now. The bigger liner locks are ready. I'm gonna cut some pockets on the insides for the bearings and see how that goes. I never cut pockets on liners. I cut them on my frame locks all the time, but not liners. But I've got some thinner bearings. I'm gonna try that on. So First thing I'm gonna do is get the hole reamed out for the pivot and the thumb stud. All right, so now I'm set up in the mill, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut the pockets, bearing pockets, in those liners. I've cut them in my frame lock frames, and I use a counterbore to do that. But now, cutting these bearing pockets in the liners, the bearings are slightly larger in diameter, of course. So I don't have a counterbore for that size bearing, so I have to do this old school. I'm using a line-up pin to find center where I've got my 3/16 pivot, which just goes up and down here. I got it already centered. And now I'm gonna change this out and put a mill in there, end mill, to cut the pocket. I've got to go down 27 thousandths and cut the pocket. This is old school. Hopefully I don't get off. The good thing about a counterbore is it has a center function there for you where you can go down in the pivot hole. It cuts the pocket and it's dead center. So we're going to see what we can do here and get this done. Wish me luck. Alright, so now we're going to move on to setting some stop pins on our small lady fingers here. And so what I'm going to do is take it over the grinder. I'm going to trim the back off, and then I'll set it in the stop position. You can see I've got to cut quite a bit here to get it in the stop position. I'll mount the back spacer on here, and we'll figure out whether we need to do some more trimming on here, and we'll have to come in here and cut with a carbide burr to set the stop pin. I've already done this one. You can see where I've cut it here. I use a carbide burr, and I'll make 100 trips to the grinder to get this perfect, and I'll barely miss a stop pin when it comes around. Now, I haven't made these little folders before, so this is all kind of new for me for these little ones. I've made hundreds of these big liner locks and frame locks. This is pretty much a challenge for me. It's very small and tedious, so I'm just taking it easy and one step at a time. So I'm going to get these set like I've got this one already done. Then I can profile them, final profile, and then get them ready to cut the lock bars and all that fun stuff. All right, so we got that one done. That makes 2. I've got 2 more of the lady fingers left to do. I still have to set the stops on the liner locks and the frame locks, but I'm kind of setting them off to the side. But even still, there's a whole lot left to do. All of the profiling, all of the counters for the screws, and then we can start grinding blades and release the lock bars and start getting some lockup done. A lot of work. But we're going to have to cut it here. Hope you got something out of this. If you got any questions, leave them down below. I really appreciate the interaction. I want to thank my patrons. I want to thank you for watching. I'm going to see you on the next one.